Hey everyone, it's Dr.Jory and welcome to the Hybrid Health Podcast. Each week I bring in some of the best minds in health and fitness, and I utilize my 20 years experience in this field to help you live a better, healthier life. Hey everyone, my guest today is Nsuani. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I see Nsuani out here doing an amazing job with his clients. How long have you been working with clients at Good Life, let's say?
Well, I've been in the industry now for 10 years. I still work with personal training clients on a weekly basis, but my 9-to-5 job, so to speak, is to run the facilities in downtown. So there's 7 personal training facilities in downtown Toronto with about 120, 130 personal trainers working with me.
Whoa, okay. And what got you into this industry in the first place?
Oddly enough, it was injury. So I was an athlete for most of my life. I excelled at American football. I always say American football.
Yeah, to clarify over soccer.
You got it. So
did you play in the Americas?
Yeah, so I played
nice.
Division II in a school in Pennsylvania, Cal U, and I wanted to be a professional athlete and play for a sport forever and be rich and famous. But life had other plans because on October 11, 2005, I broke my leg.
Oh, where?
Fibula.
Yeah.
And I destroyed some of the ligaments in my ankle.
So it was ankle sprain?
Ankle sprain.
Inversion,
and the bone didn't hold up.
Yeah.
Which wasn't even the bad part. It was more the ligaments that caused most of the damage. So from there, I had to get a surgery to stabilize the leg with some plate and screws, and another surgery to remove it and to free up some of the scar tissue. So that ended my playing career, but it opened the door to finding out more about the body through rehabilitation, through corrective exercise, and then eventually through speed and strength.
Right.
And I realized how much I didn't know, even though I was an athlete prior to my injury. So
Right.
that lit me on fire, and I wanted to kind of pay it forward in terms of the treatment that I received.
Nice. So that mirrors my story of how I got into this. So I'll get into that actually in a second, but I want to go back to football. What position did you play?
Defensive back, so I was a corner.
Oh, nice. So was I.
Awesome.
And I screwed my knee up in grade 10.
Nice. What'd you
So
tear?
actually, well, let's just dive into it. So this is called random injuries. This is one of my random injuries. So grade 10, I played football for the first time. So prior to that, my sports were hockey, baseball were the main ones. I tried out football. I was playing corner. I loved it. It was so fun. And one game there was this giant running back who got through the whole team. I was the only one left. I went to hit him high. I'm tiny. I have nothing on me. He just bowled over me. And I think his knee smashed into my knee and twisted it. So I tore the lateral meniscus in it. Now, I didn't know at the time that I tore it. He ran me over. I got up. I finished the game. I continued playing. No pain, nothing. Then I went home, sitting there watching TV. I go to get up. I can't even bend my knee. All of a sudden, it's all swollen. I'm like, what happened? So anyway, a couple days later, swelling went away. I went and saw my medical doctor, and he didn't even put his hands on my knee. He just kind of looked at it and he said, rest it.
Sounds about right.
So I said, all right. So I rested it, and then once I was feeling a little bit better, I went back to playing football, basketball, hockey, and my leg would keep locking up on me. So it would lock up in the middle of a game, and I'd have to snap it back, and then I'd be fine, and I'd keep playing. And it was so weird. I thought that it was normal for your leg to lock up. I'm like, yeah, everybody gets that, it just locks up and then you just go snap. Oh, there we go. We're good. So each time I was doing that, I was basically tearing the cartilage worse.
Got it.
So then I went back to see him maybe 6 months later, and I said, my leg keeps locking up on me, and I have to snap it to get it moving again. Again, he didn't put his hands on, didn't do anything, didn't say to me, I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe you should go see a physiotherapist, a sports therapist, a chiropractor. He never said that. To this day, it really bugs me. because all he had to do is admit that he wasn't sure and just refer out.
Yeah.
So kind of blame him a little bit for having 4 knee surgeries.
Jeez.
That experience got me wanting to treat other people and to help them with their injuries. So
Absolutely.
that's how we're kind of mirroring how we got into it. So that's pretty cool.
For sure, because once you realize some of the stuff you've gone through could have been preventative,
Exactly.
or at least shortening the recovery, then you almost become responsible to share what you know with somebody else.
Yes, you got it. So from that moment, I wanted to just help people so they wouldn't have to have 4 knee surgeries like I did.
Absolutely.
I also had an ankle surgery too, similar to your sprain, but I didn't fracture the fibula.
Got it.
So
you got lots of battle wounds on it.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any trouble going through airport security?
I don't actually have any metal on me, which is surprising considering all the injuries I've had.
Got it. Yeah, don't fly with me. It's going to be a delay.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
So other than football though, playing other sports too?
Yeah, I mean, growing up I played pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Nowadays I still play recreational football. I just like to run around, catch the ball, and then play it more from a systematic point of view, like running plays and executing them. Obviously with touch football there's no tackling or physical contact, which is good, but I've almost fallen in love with the X's and O's of the game. I play golf. In fact, I have a round of golf tomorrow morning.
Oh, nice. I love golf.
Yeah.
But I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Golf becomes very difficult when you have younger kids.
Absolutely. 6 a.m. tea time.
Okay, that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Because then you still got some day left over after
that's
that.
the only way it works.
Yeah.
And during the week, but don't tell anybody that.
Yeah, so speaking of love,
Yeah.
you have a 3-year-old daughter?
It's a 3-year-old son.
3-year-old son.
He just
Sorry
turned
about
3
that.
on Sunday.
Nice.
London. Awesome kid.
So is he playing football yet?
No, and hopefully he doesn't. I hope he plays golf and
I'm
tennis.
the same. I'm like, keep my boy away from football.
Yeah.
You're not playing football, you're not playing hockey.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Sorry, Everett.
Yeah, but I mean, he watches what Dad watches, so the chances are very high he will. But he's involved in lots of activities. He does gymnastics, he does swimming, soccer, baseball, pretty much whatever he can run around and use his body. We want him doing now.
Nice. Yeah, you got to get them active young. Keep them active. One thing that I think has helped my kids is we live in the beaches, and I take my kids down and they run barefoot on the sand.
Awesome.
So ever since they were walking, basically, and I think the balance and just sending all those signals up to the brain and coordination and all
lots
that.
of inputs. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that works. That works big time. Yeah.
So a big issue, I guess, that new parents have is exercise kind of gets thrown out. It's not as much of a priority anymore, right? You got to make sure your kid doesn't die.
Yeah.
So exercise falls sometimes dietarily.
Yeah.
You kind of fall apart a bit. You're on barely any sleep for a while. That becomes hard. You're not repairing your body as well.
Yeah.
You get sick easier. All of these things. So how do you deal with all of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, all of that is, nobody's immune to those things once they become a parent. One thing that helped was preparing for it. So when I found out my wife was pregnant, I actually went and sought the advice of someone who works in the fitness industry who had 5 kids. A gentleman named Chris Lopez.
Whoa.
And I trained with him for about 8 months. The reason for that is, one, I wanted to see, well, how the heck does he do it? And 2, he was a kettlebell master, so to speak. And prior to that, I just looked at a kettlebell like a stupid shaped dumbbell.
Right.
I saw a lot of gimmicky exercises in the
Fad,
gym and fad.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, first of all, the history of it, the very, very old history of strongman training with it and balance and coordination.
Right.
And I also didn't realize how efficient it was. So in that 7-month period, which led me all the way up to the birth of my son, I was probably in arguably the best shape of my life.
Nice.
And carrying in 30 to 40 minute workouts 3 to 4 times a week. So I learned about a lot more about, like, myofascial lines and how to use them in exercise versus sticking to the sagittal or frontal plane exercises. I learned a lot about density and myofibril hypertrophy and how to create a lot of tension and explosion and strength in very short windows. And because it's such a simple tool, so to speak, it didn't require a lot of setup or a lot of prep. I learned how to get conditioning out of, again, pairing of exercises and again, not really using a lot. The strong first principles, which is the methodology that the coach used, was how to do more in a little less time.
Yes, that is so key. Yeah. Once you have kids, you just have to be more efficient.
Right.
You can't go do an hour and a half workout.
Right.
There's no time for that.
Right.
You need to smush it all down
and get it done.
Do the important movements.
Right. And the big thing that really resonated with me with this style of training was that it's used a lot for armed forces and first responders. And as much as we love like an hour and 20-minute session, I don't have 2 days to recover from a leg day. Yeah. So I can't be wobbly taking my son up and down the steps. So the idea of the workout was to leave with more energy than when you started. So you're getting, again, your conditioning, you're getting your strength, you're getting your hypertrophy benefits, but you're not going to the point where your recovery needs to be so robust that you need 2 or 3 days of rest.
Right.
So it was more or less of an approach of get what you can get and get it more often.
Yes.
Versus get longer in every session.
Now, I teach biology, and I love learning about the mitochondria, and something that many people don't know is that one of the reasons you want to exercise and keep exercising is that your mitochondrial density per cell will actually go up. And for those who don't know, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It helps you, it's energy currency in the form of adenosine triphosphate, ATP. And for those who exercise frequently, you're getting that higher mitochondrial density. Why do you want that? So that you can have more energy even on less sleep to get you through the day. And you were mentioning how you got in pretty much the best shape of your life right leading up to the birth. And that seems to be a common thing I notice with dads. Moms do it as well because they're pregnant and they have to deal with that. But with dads, I've noticed that it's a common thing where you step up your workouts right before the birth of your child. And I like to think evolutionarily thinking all the time too, and how, back in the day you had to protect your family from another tribe coming over and warring with you or trying to take your resources, whatever it is.
Sure.
So on that topic, I wanted to ask you, did you ever have any dreams leading up to the birth of like fighting dreams, or can you remember anything like that?
I remember having a recurring dream of waking up with my pockets being empty and no money in them. To be honest,
no, that wasn't a dream.
That wasn't a dream. That was
real.
reality. No, I personally don't remember my dreams.
You probably were. You just didn't remember.
Yeah, I do remember a lot of changes though, and just I would look at things differently. If we were walking together, you're a grown man, I would almost like do this before I cross the street.
Yes.
Right? Or I'd always look to see who's walking on the inside.
It makes you a better person.
It makes you more aware.
You care more about humanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does make you a better person.
Yeah, and those things are kind of the you start looking around and seeing risk, so to speak. I remember walking in places with my son, and then just looking around and saying, okay, where's the exit? Who's that guy? What's he doing? You start to play out scenarios. If I have to punch this guy and run out the door, I'm going to go that way. And these are things that I remember my father would always tell me when I was younger. He would always say, when you're going out, get to somewhere, don't be caught up in just excitement of where you are, know where the exits are.
Always be aware.
Always be aware. It's like, whatever, Dad.
Yeah.
But as I became a father, I definitely started picking up on those things a lot more now.
Yeah. The dreams that I was having were, I was like a Roman gladiator or something. I had I had this big sword. I was like chopping people in half and stuff. Okay. So I don't know. I always equated it to I'm mentally training myself to protect my family.
For sure.
And I've talked to other dads who say that they've had that as well, where they have these like fighting dreams.
Yeah.
And so I had those fighting dreams for my first child who was born, and then I didn't really have them again until my wife was pregnant with the second child, and then I was revisiting those dreams again, just fighting people and So yeah, I think it's just
It makes
mentally
sense. No, it makes
pumping
sense.
you up.
Getting you ready to protect their client. I can see that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. So the next segment we're going to do, I'm going to go on my health rant. This one I just wanted to talk about added sugar. Now I rant about sugar all the time. When I'm teaching my students, I'm always making them aware of like all this extra added sugar in processed foods, drinks, pretty much anything that is not a fruit or vegetable that you buy at the grocery store. And the topic that I want to discuss regarding the added sugar is if you look at a nutritional label, and unfortunately I don't have one with me right now, but you can take any nutritional label and you look at the macromolecules, so you look at your carbs and you look at your proteins and you look at your lipids, then they will give you the percentage of your daily intake. So you look at your, let's say your drink, you have some sugary drink that you bought, there's probably not going to be any protein in there. It's going to tell you the carb percentage. There's probably not going to be much lipids in there. But then, so you got your carb percentage, and let's say it's 30%. But the thing that confuses people is below the carbs, then there'll be the sugars label. Now, with the sugars label, we're talking about the like monosaccharides, the simple sugars. And those are the ones that you want to be careful of and that you're not overdoing it. So the point I'm trying to make is that the World Health Organization has a recommendation that we should try and get about 25 grams of sugar per day. What I see in my classroom is a student will have like, sorry to pick on you, what's those?
Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar is brutal.
Yeah.
Some of those big Rockstar. The iced tea.
Oh, the Arizona.
Those
are cracking a can.
Yeah, cracking a can, big can.
They're like 49 cents, 99 cents.
Yeah, exactly. So you look at that, and I used to drink those too in university, I remember.
Yeah.
And they definitely give you energy. There's no doubt about that. But you look at the sugar content. It's like 74 grams of sugar
For 99 cents.
for 99 cents. So you just got triple your sugar intake for the whole day in one drink. And that means you can't have any other added sugar for the rest of the day.
Right, so you shouldn't eat it with a donut.
So then you start thinking, why? Like, I mean, obesity epidemic, diabetes epidemic. What causes
mental health?
Obesity, what causes diabetes, too much sugar? People don't even know that this is happening. I didn't know that it was happening until about 5 years ago. I started to figure that out. I'm like, holy, this is ridiculous. So the health rant is, they should put what percentage of sugar daily intake you're getting. So that Arizona iced tea should say 400% sugar. If people saw that, they might think twice about buying it. But when you don't see that number, you have no clue how much sugar you should be taking in.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah, there's so many ways you can look at it. I try to train myself to get out of bed every day.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, if I look at things that don't make sense, like that, I look at the world as a bleak place. Because the only reason why you wouldn't put that on a can is because you want to deceive somebody.
Yes.
And there's a whole conversation into why would you want to deceive somebody into having health problems.
Right.
And medications.
Yes.
And as I said...
But also making things taste so irresistible.
And charge 99 cents. And charge like, it's not $5, it's 99 cents.
Yeah.
Like, even value, it might make sense. But just sticking with the point I'm making is that we know people do things for profit. We know people do things for greed. We know people do things for a lack of empathy. But that's sometimes hard to deal with in terms of knowing fellow man could be that. I guess the word is shallow. So part of it could be ignorance. Part of it could just be everybody has a view of how they contribute to the world. And maybe their view, they don't want to either deal with their impact or even respond to it. But it also could be every jar has a lid. I mean, at some point you have to be responsible for yourself. And
yes.
as a father, as we spoke about, I see a lot of my son's friends that he plays with. You know, a kid drinks half of a can of that, they fly off the walls.
Oh yeah.
And you have to know it's doing something detrimental to your kid. If
Right.
you're choosing to do it, someone's going to choose to sell it to you.
So here, speaking of flying off the walls, my son's in this soccer league, and every parent has to bring snacks for one game, so we alternate, right? And what I noticed is people kept bringing like bear paws or some kind of really sugary snack, right? Now what they do is they do the snack after the game ends. What time does the game end? Almost 8 p.m. What time does my kid go to bed? Around 8 p.m. So we're giving all these kids, firing them up on sugar right before they go to bed. Everybody's having issues trying to put their kids to bed. So when it was our time to do snacks, we bought these beautiful oranges, sliced them all up, brought them out. We were the only family the whole season that brought oranges. And everybody loved it. The kids went nuts. They're like, "Oh, this is so good."
And I think that's the answer. I mean, a lot of fitness professionals will go on rants of what should or shouldn't be changed through policy or legislation or labels. And I don't disagree. But while we're having those conversations and arguments in person or online, like what can you do right there in your community or in your ecosystem? Similar thing. My son went to daycare at age of 1, and at this point he was home. So he's eating avocado in the morning and salmon, and we even had him eating nuts, which is crazy. But there's no issue.
Crazy at all.
I'm sorry, when I say crazy, I mean crazy based on the standard.
I did a health rant on peanut allergies.
Okay, I gotta go back and watch that one. I missed that one. But crazy meaning, because you can't bring a nut around the kid.
No, I understand.
He's fine, he can eat nuts. But when he started daycare, all of a sudden he's eating like 4 pieces of banana bread and 3 pieces of toast, and and I'm noticing he's changing. He's more irritable. He's more defiant. He's more energy crashes up and down. So
maybe eczema.
Everything changed.
Too much sugar.
So I did what everybody does, and I went in there and wagged my finger and said we should change X, Y, Z, and it's not going to work. My wife, very smart lady, she just started buying extra fruit, cutting it up, and she brought it to the teachers. That was the first thing she did. She brought it to the teachers, and she brought it to the director of the food service, so they can say, "Oh wow, I remember how good an apple tastes or strawberry tastes."
Right.
And we did that for so long to the point where they actually decided to change the menu and go with a place called Real Health.
Making changes.
Making changes. Now, if I had continued going with my way, which is a very common way of yelling, arguing, beating my fist on the wall, people don't want to hear that.
That's right.
Introduce them to something that tastes good, maybe have a shot.
So then this season, we went to the first soccer game, and our coach from last year, he came up, he's like, "I still remember those oranges you brought. They were so good." And he's like, "I'm hoping we're going to do that."
Where's the oranges, man? That's hilarious.
And that's not to say there isn't sugar in oranges.
Right.
But it's connected to fiber.
Right.
And if you want to eat your sugar, you get it with fiber.
Right.
Then it's not jacking your blood sugar up so quick. It's more of a gradual. And then a gradual come down instead of the crash down.
Right, and you nailed it. I mean, you have kids, you're going to have to, at some point, give them treats and snacks. Yeah. And there's some stuff in my house, I'm not going to lie. But it's how
Of course, we do the same.
Right, it's how you do it, it's how you explain it. Can you give them some natural substances or natural products that have, a little more of a fiber content and a slower sugar release. And this is the thing. Or just talk about it. Like if you're eating something, like this is a snack. This is not a staple. This is a treat. And these are things that we try to do, right?
Totally. So on the subject of nutrition, we've got our segment here. Dr. Stefan from Botswana. So he sent me this message here. He says, "Hey, Dr. Jory, a lot of people are worried about heavy metals like mercury in fish oil. Well, you don't have to be. Heavy metals are lipophobic and hydrophilic, meaning they won't stay in the fat. Rather, they accumulate in the meat. That being said, smaller, non-predatory fish like sardines, anchovies, or even krill are probably a more environmentally sustainable choice than fish oil from salmon and tuna. So that's a great point. I actually did not know that. Reading it totally makes sense because I do teach about lipids and hydrophilic, hydrophobic, all that kind of stuff. But I never thought about that with oil, whether or not that would have mercury in it. Obviously, you hear about if you eat too much tuna, canned tuna, watch your mercury levels. Tony Robbins actually said he had mercury poison from eating too much tuna.
I don't believe that.
Who knows? My thing that I do is I eat a lot of sardines, but as Dr. Stefan said, they're non-predatory fish. They're small, and so they're not accumulating the mercury as the larger predatory fish are.
Well, you know he's in Africa, he's eating sardines and mackerels. That's like the staple.
That's the go-to.
That's the go-to.
Are you into the sardines at all?
Yeah, it's just, you know, the funny... I'm actually a little joke. I'm half African. I'm Ghanaian, West African.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that my parents just did culturally, you know, now that I'm learning so much about the body and fitness and health, it's things that they did traditionally. And I don't think they knew they were doing it, but like
they were doing good stuff.
They were doing good stuff. Mackerel, sardines, and
whole foods.
It was always in the oil and save the oil. And I know I'm sure they didn't understand what Dr. Stefan says, but it's just something that's passed down.
Yes.
We talked earlier about
the elders, the
fiber content, yam and cassava and green bananas and sweet potatoes. Like, yes, the carbohydrates, but the fiber content.
Not as bad as white potato.
You got it. So these are things that I'm finding appreciation for, that, you know, these primitive cultures that we don't give a lot of respect to. I mean, they live without the medicine and technology that we've had. They've lived for generations.
Right.
But it's good now to come full circle. Personally, myself, I try to find the easiest strategy. So, based on knowledge, I know what I should be doing, but then I also know what my sometimes barriers to completing those things are. So I try to find the midline, the common ground. Love salmon, love tuna. If I can't source the right tuna, then I'm probably not going to eat. If I don't eat, I'm probably going to make a poor choice elsewhere.
Right.
If I'm making good choices and I'm getting my groceries done and I'm doing it on a weekly, monthly basis, which happens to certain segments of the year, then maybe I look for a better choice. Right. But I try not to beat myself up too much, because if I get in that negative mind space, then I might just say, forget it, let's go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's great. That's something that Dr. Stefan said that reminds me of something I knew growing up. So I definitely will be putting in some more sardines.
Nsuani, what would you say you would give your clients, maybe a couple tips on nutrition? What is the first couple things you might...
Well, my clients are very busy, very stubborn, very successful people. Yes. So I give them one.
Okay.
I give them one, and then anything else that goes from there, I outsource to someone who has more experience. Right. When I say experience, I know a lot about nutrition, but a naturopath nutritionist deals with that all day long.
Yeah.
The one thing I try to get them to do is to stop eating grains and sugars in their breakfast.
There you go. That's a good tip.
And you know, everybody wants to look better and have more muscle and be leaner and be tighter, which is amazing. But I know everybody wants to produce better, meaning be more productive, do better at work, be better parents, be better sons, daughters. By switching to healthy fats in the morning and getting off of the insulin and carb spike first thing in the morning, you actually look better. Because you create a better environment for building lean tissue and losing fat. But that's secondary to how your brain performs.
Great tip.
And I break it down to them in a very simple way. I explain to them different ways to fuel your body, how higher glycemic or grainier carbohydrates are better for physical activity, and how healthy fats are better for cerebral and mental activities. And then I have them just walk me through their day. And I say, at 6 a.m., are you Olympic lifting or are you reading your emails? 8 a.m., are you sprinting for the streetcar or are you sitting down reading the paper? And as long as that activity falls in line with something that's mental, then they should be eating fat.
Oh, I like that.
And that's one thing my guys have all taken to, and they come back immediately and say, I'm more clear, I'm more focused. And then when the actual composition changes come on the back end, then it just solidifies. And then one day they'll have pancakes or muffins in a meeting, and then they're like, they pass out at the table. They're like, holy crap, I couldn't even focus.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Mental fog.
Mental fog, and point me, right? So anything else after that, there's millions of things we can do and different strategies. But I outsource and work as a team and a group with people who are more skilled in that area.
Okay, you're a busy guy like me. You've got 5 minutes to do a workout.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Oh, first thing is 16 to 24 kilogram kettlebell. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. It's 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. That's all you got.
So I'll take 1 minute to do some mobility because I'm a tight guy. I'll set the timer, make sure when that 1 minute's done, I'm done, because sometimes I like to do mobility and then call that my workout. Yeah. Bullshit. Ooh.
No, it's okay. Put a little bleep in there.
We'll bleep that. The next 2 minutes, I'll do something that's hypertrophy based, a lot of time and retention, a lot of slow eccentrics. I'll grab the kettlebell, do some deep squats. I'll do some maybe single arm presses. And then the last 2 or 3 minutes, I'll do conditioning, kettlebell swings, snatches, anything that involves getting the heart rate up, multiplanar activity. So it's 5 minutes, but at least I cover some movement. I cover some sort of stimulation from a sarcoplasmic or myofibril hypertrophy point of view, and then something from a conditioning point of view, just so my endorphins and heart rate are firing.
Sweet.
It's 5 minutes, man. That's a very efficient workout.
Yeah.
We should coin that.
Yeah. So I like that. I think I'll take some stuff from that. What I do 5 or 10 minutes as I'll go out.
You gave yourself 10. You gave me 5.
Yeah, I know. Okay, fine.
When you're a host, you get more. I get it. Have your own show.
I got to top you.
I get it. Yeah.
No, I like just alternating between push-ups, chin-ups, handstand push-up, maybe deadlift.
Yep. Sure.
Just go heavy, quick, and done. Yeah. But yeah, my workouts nowadays are about half hour max, I would say. I also ride my bike though, almost 20K a day.
You are always riding.
Commuting.
I really, really, really admire you for that.
Thanks, I love it. It's just
hate riding bikes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm scared in the city.
It can be a little iffy in the city. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything else you could think of as maybe just a tip to give our audience? Could be nutrition, workout, sleep, whatever. Maybe just one more tip.
So the one tip I would give to everybody is just to ask for help. I think the generation that we're in and the time that we're in and the tools that we have are very much self-centered, very much focused, whether it's social media.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Look at me. My way is the right way. Follow me here. It's great. It obviously creates a lot of entertainment, a lot of exchange of information, but you don't see a lot of people saying, yeah, I was able to do this because of my team. And even some of the greatest influencers, so to speak, in social media, there's a team of 5 or 10 people helping to put out that content.
Right.
And why I say that could be dangerous in fitness and health is because it gives the idea that all I have to do is work a little harder or have a little more discipline. And both of those scenarios are not only overrated, they're also dangerous because it puts the onus on you. When I'm tired, when I'm stressed, when my son is sick, when work is killing me, discipline and hard work go down the tubes.
Right.
But if I have, Dr.Jory who helps me with my treatment, a workout buddy who helps me to make sure I get my work done, if I have my business coach or my boss helping me through what I'm struggling with, and a good partner at home with my wife to help me with my son, then that's a very effective strategy to get over challenging times other than just work harder and read a meme on Instagram.
Right.
So I would definitely say surround yourself with a team, have roles that are very much designated, and have people you can trust so that when time comes, you can just call them. That'll be my biggest tip.
Yeah, that's good advice. I like that. You don't hear that very often. So that's a good one. All right. So if anyone wanted to connect with you, I
guess the best way would be on social media after I just said the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm the only Nsuani probably in the world. NSUANI.bafo. At Good Life Fitness is where you find me if you have a health or fitness related question. If it's just lifestyle or just to shoot the breeze and talk about performance and how to be better at your jobs, better as a parent, a husband, a son, a daughter, then just find me on Instagram. And I share everything about my life. It's not just a fitness account. Mm-hmm. You'll see obviously what drives my life, which is fitness and health. but you'll see my love for sports and my love for cars.
I love music too.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even get into music.
You gotta have me back. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. We'll talk some cars,
for sure,
music,
for sure,
and some other health stuff.
For sure, I feel like all those passions fuel my my responsibilities. So
right on. Well, thanks for doing this,
thanks for having me.
For the viewers and subscribers and all that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel there. Give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, maybe questions for us. We can get back to you. And until then, it gives you health on. Boom.